Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christian. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, good day. Wherever you are, whenever you're seeing this, I hope you are good. So guys, this is a message that you need to see this week. This week we're going to be having a new moon in Cancer. So this is going to be a time to manifest. It's going to be a time to figure out, what's really filling your cup. Where are you giving too much? Where are you giving too little? What's not in balance? It's also going to be a time to just really do the work that we need to kind of step into a new season. When we're stepping into a new season, it can be all, practical things, all work, all good habits, all dedication, all structure. But this new moon in Cancer is kind of challenging us to say, okay, how can we focus on what's feeling good within us and allow that to kind of be the motivation that we need to create. Like, how can we find the motivation and the inspiration, kind of an emotional fulfillment and spiritual fulfillment, and knowing that we're in the right space at the right time, doing the right thing. So this week, we're definitely going to be thinking a lot about, have we been answering the call that our spirit has been, kind of calling us to? Have we been neglecting the things that we need? Have we been realizing what is affecting us or what's not affecting us and we don't do anything about it? How have we really been, connecting with ourselves and stepping up for ourselves and doing what we need to do to make sure that we can get the things that we need? This is definitely going to be a time to also think about security, think about what makes us feel safe, think about what makes us feel grounded, and not just speed past those things to just try to get what we want, okay? So this is going to be a season to manifest things that stick. So you definitely want to do your intentions this week, do some candle work this week, pray about what you want, clear out your space, and prepare to welcome in new energies. So let's go ahead and get into this message that you need this week, all about the new moon in Cancer. Of course, I'm going to be doing private new moon in Cancer readings for $35. We're going to be getting into how to achieve the security you seek, and also what are you currently manifesting. So get into it and see how this new moon in Cancer is specifically going to be connecting to you, and what are some things you need to be doing to making sure you're manifesting the right things in this space and manifesting with the right energy. That's kind of what this new moon in Cancer is saying. Like, it's one thing to know what you want and manifest what you want. It's another thing to manifest from a space that's going to let the abundance overflow, and that is what we need to be stepping into. So let's go ahead and get into the tea, guys. If you want to get a reading, you can check in down below in the description box to see how you can send in and get that reading this week. We're also going to be doing, private sessions are always available. The tarot class, the new you course, 30-minute sessions, 60-minute sessions, business sessions. Get into it. Yes, let's go ahead and get into this reading. What you need to hear this week as we're stepping into this season of manifestation. Let's get right into it. So we have strategy, of course. We have blossoming abundance, of course. We have the fourth chakra, Archangel Raphael, of course. The heart chakra, gag, of course. And we have caring connections, of course. Of course. Do I even need to do the reading, or can we just wrap it up right here? Okay. This new moon in Cancer, guys, and I understand, like, a new moon in Cancer is such a drag because Cancers, no tea, no shade, Cancers are they carry a lot of emotional things. So when we step into a new moon in Cancer, it's like we have all of this energy and we want to create, we want to do this, and we want to do this, but we're feeling like the pull of our emotions, so it's like, how am I supposed to move with this energy? Because we're used to that emotional pull, meaning rest. But right now we're supposed to use this pull for strategy and to figure out what we want and how we're going to get it. So let's talk about this, guys. Strategy. This is all about planning. You know what you want. How are you going to get it? This is a good time to make a business plan. If you need help making a business plan, book you a business reboot session, 1-hour business consultation. We'll get you together. Get you a business plan made. Figure out what you need to do right now to get you set up for the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. If you're in a space where you feel like you can't even think that far ahead, what's going on there? Sometimes we don't start making the plan because we realize, if I start making the plan, I'm going to be realizing how I'm not ready to even make the plan. Sometimes whenever we try to set out and make something real, all of the holes in our story or in our efforts kind of start to pop up, and we're able to see, maybe I'm not as ready as I thought I was. Okay. So this is going to be a time when you're going to be looking within to make those necessary plans. Also, blossoming abundance. The abundance is on the way. The prosperity is on the way. You're stepping into a manifestation. We already know that. The heart chakra. What's going on with your heart chakra right now? Your heart chakra is going to be ruling trust, letting go of grudges, jealousy, anger. Your heart chakra is your relationships, all relationships. The relationship between you and sex, you and money, you and food, you and your family, you and your friends, you and strangers, you and social media, you and your body. It's all all relationships, how you connect and relate to everything in your life. So if there's any discontent, if there's anything that isn't balanced, it definitely is going to be showing up in why you aren't able to make those strategies, why you aren't able to follow through with those plans. And also caring connections. Okay, we need to start putting our focus on these caring connections and just recognizing how important it is to have a village that you can depend on, that you can trust, that can support you as you're making this strategy and as you're figuring out what you need. You know, we all need security whenever we're trying to manifest new things. We all need security, and it's important to know what that looks like for you. Security for some of us may look like a savings account. For somebody else, it may look like a group of people that you can vent to and they can support you. For someone else, it may look like having a manager or having a boss that's really passionate about you getting to the next level. So you know that someone's able to kind of support you and help you along the way. There's so many different things that make us feel secure on our journey. So in this season with this new moon in Cancer, that's what you want to be thinking about this week. You know, like, yes, I'm ready, but do I have all the things that I need? Am I ready and emotionally secure? Or am I just ready because the time is ticking and I have to make something shake? You know, we don't want to force ourselves to jump the gun or force ourselves to take a risk or step into something. And we can definitely do that a lot. But this new moon in Cancer is saying, wait, pull back a little bit. You know, how are you feeling about this new beginning? We know you're excited. We know you're ready for the money. We know you're ready for the job. We know you're ready for all the things. But emotionally, what's popping up for you? You know, is there any fear? Is there any, will I be good enough? Is there any, will they be good enough? Will my environment support me through this? You know, you do not want to ignore what's popping up for you because it's popping up for a reason. You want to look within. You want to ask questions. You want to understand more than ever what you're feeling, why you're feeling those things, and why those things are popping up for you. Let's keep going. We have no need to worry, of course. Don't stress, release stress. No need to worry. Listen to your intuition. Listen to your intuition. Do some prayer, do some cleansing energy like I mentioned. Figure out how you can tap back into your discernment. And make sure that you're praying every day, that you're in prayer every single day. You're in meditation every day. You're taking time every day to connect with source. I've been doing that intentionally. Like I literally, like about maybe like a week ago, I made a time on my calendar every single evening. Usually I'm in the bed every evening because I'm an old lady. So every evening I have a time where I put pray on my calendar so I can see it, I can remember, and I literally stop what I'm doing and pray right in that moment. So whatever that looks like for you, make sure you're finding ways to connect with your intuition so you don't miss those signs, so you don't miss what your energies are telling you need to do. Because this is the thing. We can't create a strategy, a business plan, you know, a path that we need to follow because we can't get that divine guidance. Like your path that you create is not about what you want to do or what you want to achieve. Yes, it's partly about that, but it's also about what God has for you. You know, like the things we're trying to manifest, all the abundance, all the love, all the happiness, all the success. It's because that's what we're destined for. You know, it looks different for everybody, but we're all here for a purpose. And we should be able to get enjoyment back from life because of that purpose. Yes, there's going to be lessons and struggle and challenges, but there should be enjoyment that we're getting back from life because of what we're doing and because of the work and the effort that we're putting in. So it's going to be really important that you're able to listen to your intuition so you can figure out what you need to do and when, because you're just going to be feeling the emotions. What's underneath those things? What can you find and how can you move forward with that? Peaceful resolution. The caring connections and peaceful resolution are definitely going hand in hand. Let go, especially with the heart chakra. Let go. If you're holding on to grudges, that could definitely be blocking some things for you emotionally. You want to have an open heart to be able to receive openly. And when you are holding on to old stuff, you're not allowing stuff to get closure. Even if it's time for it to get closure, you holding on, that's going to be popping up in how you're able to move forward and handle mistakes and handle things that don't go well. It's all going to come back to that heart chakra because that's how we're able to accept and receive things. You know, that's how we're able to, you know, give and pour into others, but also, you know, be humble and be in a space where we can receive those things back. So very, very important to be open to that peaceful resolution. We also have no. We have no, and we have recovery as well. Recovery. So, you know, I feel like a part of our plan should definitely be getting our mind right, you know, and don't neglect to add that into your plans. Don't feel like your plans have to start, you know, day one, run 8 miles. You know, your plan can be run half a mile or walk half a mile or just get into a stretching routine so you can figure out how to loosen up your muscles so you can run that mile or whatever the case may be. Like your starting point can be whatever you want it to be. Don't feel like your starting point has to be so advanced, so far, you know, to where it just, it startles you to even begin. That's not what you want to experience, you know, because we have this recovery energy. I think a lot of us need to start with recovery. Start with asking yourself, am I even okay? Am I even okay? What am I dealing with right now? What has been stressing me out and weighing me down? Is it financial issues? Is it emotional issues? Am I having issues from the past pop back up? Am I getting triggered by something again? Do I know that I'm stepping into something new and that's scaring me? What am I feeling? How can I tap into myself and listen to myself and step into a space of just security and trust, and just being whole? This is an opportunity to get whole this week before you step into something new that's going to be scary. The new stuff is always scary. It's always challenging. We always will feel like we're not prepared. We'll always feel like our back is against the wall. Like, no matter how much work we do, you step into a new season, you're going to have new challenges, new struggles, new stuff that's getting on your nerves. So we're always kind of preparing to step not into the same exact situation, but we're preparing to kind of face challenges. You're getting prepared to face a challenge. So you're not just getting prepared to receive those things, you're getting prepared to deal with whatever's coming with it. So give yourself that time to recover. Give yourself that time to kind of look within and figure out emotionally what's been popping up for you and how it's been affecting you. Okay, let's keep getting into the tea leaf oracle, guys, for this week with this new moon in Cancer. Let's get into the tea. Let me know how you guys are feeling about the spread all together down below. So we have bird flying. News is on the way. News is on the way, so you're definitely going to be getting some news this week. If you've been waiting on it, it's coming. Y'all already know we got rooster. We always have this rooster, guys. An arrogant, boastful person you should not cross. I'm about to start thinking this is us. Is this us? Is this fucking play about us? We have apple. Temptation will test you. Temptation will test you. What is this temptation? What is a temptation that's not allowing you to let go? Is it temptation to make somebody pay? Is it temptation to make sure that karma gets somebody? Is it temptation to just keep doing the old things and keep being stubborn? What is that temptation that's keeping you in the past that you can't recover from? I feel like this temptation has something to do with this recovery, what we need to let go. There's definitely a temptation to kind of keep holding on to things that we feel like we need to let go. We have carriage, a journey, either physical or mental, period. We're definitely on a journey. For sure. We have bags, something important such as a new job or a raise. Make that strategy, make that plan. It's time for some new things. Funnel, period of frustration and lessons to be learned. Funnel, period of frustration, lessons to be learned. We have bowl, plenty of material things. So we will not be feeling lack, plenty of material things. And we have ink pop, problems to be resolved. So we have some problems here. We have a period of frustration. We have a boastful person we should not cross. Ciao. I'm starting to think this may be our shadow self, because this keeps popping up in every fucking reading that I do for y'all. This could either be your shadow. This could be your mom. This could be your partner. For some of y'all, this is somebody that it's not as easy for you to get away from. This energy is not super easy to get away from. This could be your boss. This is someone that no matter what you have to figure out or what you have to do, you feel like you have to cross this person to achieve whatever you're trying to achieve. Like you have to convince them or make peace with them, or, it's all about how they're going to react. Like this could be someone that always gives you a very aggressive, nasty reaction when you're trying to tell them something. So it makes you uncomfortable. This energy is something that you want to be mindful of. Figure out where this energy is coming from. It could even be something from the past. Like if you had someone from your childhood or your past that used to say nasty things to you, and anytime you step into something new, you have this kind of replaying. It could be that as well. Figure out how we can relax, how we can release this arrogant, boastful energy. This feels like something that gives us a lot of anxiety, something that makes us feel small, something that makes us feel weak, like we don't know what we're doing. This is an energy that just sucks all of the strength out of you and all the confidence out of you. So be mindful of that. We also have ink pot, problems to be resolved, period of frustration, lessons to be learned. So you're being set up to do what you need to do and deal with what you need to deal with. It's literally happening. You're being set up. There's problems to be resolved. And guess what? You frustrated and learned lessons because there's problems to be resolved. So whatever frustration you're dealing with, you have to deal with it. You have to deal with it. It's things you have to understand. And that's something that I had to deal with this week, because I had a moment where I was very, 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 very triggered. Like my entire body was just rejecting this space that I was in. And it was very uncomfortable. And I was feeling very like, about it because it was making me uncomfortable. Hello? But I had to, I ended up realizing the same day, because y'all know I don't play. I don't let things linger. Okay. So the same day, I literally just ended up kind of coming full circle with it and being like, this is obviously something I have to deal with and face. Like there's no way that and you know what? I was really planning on never facing it. Isn't that so crazy how sometimes we can deal with stuff and we can really feel like, oh yeah, this is just a part of who I am. This is a part of my life. I'm never going to let this go. Or you don't even think about getting to a point where that's just not a part of who you are, so I've been learning a lot about who I really am, and who trauma has made me become, there's a lot of things that I thought I was and a lot of things that I thought I felt because of extenuating circumstances, extenuating pain and frustration and trauma. So having to kind of be confronted with those things and release those things and adapt a new perspective is kind of difficult, but it's exactly what you need. It's exactly what you need. So for some of us, that arrogant, boastful energy, it could be your shadow. It could be your own stubbornness. But like I mentioned, it could also be an outside factor that makes you, feel small and feel like you can't do anything but go back to what you were always doing, right? But again, period of frustration, lessons to be learned, be open to learning new lessons. We have news on the way, new job or a raise. So stuff is happening. Stuff is elevating. You're about to elevate, plenty of material things, period. Plenty of material things. So you you won't have to worry. So don't let yourself worry. Don't let yourself stress. This is more about repairing what's happening beneath the surface with this emotional recovery and this heart chakra. This is more about getting yourself ready so you can emotionally step into this with an open heart. That's going to be very, very important. We also have transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing, deep healing. We definitely have to release and let go of a lot of these things to step into where we're going. Leap. You go first, the universe will catch you. You go first and the universe will catch you. Sometimes taking that first step is all we need to do. We have boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? This is a beautiful question to ask yourself. You can take this as a journal prompt, as a meditation, even ask God, where do I need to establish better boundaries? How can I better protect myself? How can I better protect my energy, my gifts? That's going to be very important because that arrogant, boastful person, they need a boundary set. I don't care who it is. Okay, I don't care if it's everybody. They need a boundary set because that keeps popping up. You need to set a boundary on them right now, today, tonight, right now, today. Set the boundary. The initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. Rite of passage, crossing the threshold. This is different. We should feel different. You should feel like I can't tolerate that anymore. I can't accept that anymore. I'm sorry if maybe that's what you're used to, but I can't we have to set the boundaries. We have to protect ourselves. We just have to do it. You're crossing the threshold. You're stepping into a new season. The abundance is blossoming. New job on the way. Plenty of material things. Lessons to be learned. A journey, either physical or mental. You're going through it already. You're stepping into it already. Trust that. Don't feel so, I can't do this. You're doing it already. You're quite literally doing it already. So trust that and lean into that. Rite of passage, crossing the threshold. Love that. Let's keep going, guys. We have a new romantic cycle begins. New moon in Libra. A new romantic cycle begins. Deal with the things that you need to deal with this heart chakra so you can step into new romance. And if I said a new romantic cycle begins and you was like, oh girl, I don't want to do a romantic cycle, that's too bad. It's for you. Because the only reason we don't want romance or we don't want love in our life or people in our life is because we just experienced the bad sides of it. Only the bad sides of it, or it can be completely wrong. That's the real tea. Because if you have real love in your life and real friendship and real family and real connection, you would not shy away from making new connection. You would run into it. Clocking myself with that, but you would run into it. So the only reason we're afraid of the most beautiful, powerful, fulfilling, joyous thing that we could have in our hearts, because we're afraid of stepping into that, there's something for us to recover from. It's not normal for you to hear that there's new love on the way and you're like, oh my God, you should be excited about that because this is something that you have worked for. The love that comes when you've been doing the work is very, very different from the love you stumble into when you're not feeling how you're supposed to be feeling. Okay? The love you stumble into out of depression, desperation, this is not the same love. This is a different connection. So trust that. We have work through your fears. New moon in Scorpio, guys. Work through your fears. Feel like you are strong. We have new moon in Pisces. All of these new moon energies. New moon in Pisces. Meditate and contemplate. Meditate and contemplate. Lots of meditation, lots of prayer. Set an alarm to pray every day, to meditate every day, to spend time with God every day, talking about what you need, where you're going, what you're feeling, what you're thinking. Literally be very intentional about that time that you spend. And we have the energy is gaining momentum, waxing moon. Stuff is picking up. This is definitely a time to manifest. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of new things this week. News on the way, new jobs, security, blossoming abundance. You may even be remembering some specific triggers from the past to deal with. The energy is gaining momentum. Stuff is picking up. So it's kind of time now to step into it. You want to make your strategy. You want to get it together. You want to figure out what you need to do. And you want to make it happen. Opportunity and change. Opportunity and change. The opportunity is here. You know, a lot of us, we've been waiting and waiting and waiting for the opportunity, but it's here. So it's like, what are you going to do about it now? It's here now. Let's act on it. Transformation, period. Transformation. Change at a deep cellular level, deep healing. We're in a space of new things. Forgiveness and understanding. This is going to be a really big component to that recovery of our heart chakra. Forgiveness and understanding. Forgiveness, acceptance, understanding, release, letting go, and compassion. This is going to be something big too. Ooh, what a gorgeous, gorgeous card. This card is so gorgeous. Compassion. How can we be more compassionate to ourselves and also to the past? You know, how can we look at the past with more compassion instead of looking at the past through a lens of anger or frustration or hate? You know, how can we look at the past from a space of, you know, just having an open heart? You know, I think that's really, really key in controlling how the past affects you. How can you look at the past through a lens of compassion? So yes, guys, that's what we're going to be getting into and facing this week. Let me know how you guys felt about this message. We have a new moon in Cancer on June 25th. If you want to pull into the message and get your own reading for this new moon in Cancer to figure out specifically what you need to feel more secure in this moment, what security are you currently seeking, and also what are you working to manifest right now, then go ahead and get into it. If you're going to be getting one of those readings and you want to give me some tea about what you're trying to manifest or what you're trying to attract, let me know so we can work together and make it happen. I appreciate you guys as always. I love y'all. I can't wait to connect with you guys this week. Thank you guys for being here. As always, have an incredible new moon in Cancer, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys. Bless.